Yeah, so we've come up here on e-bikes, and a few years ago I bought this second-hand child carrier, which has worked well as a little hauling truck for our kit. It's, what was it now, 31 kilometres from Barrow up to here, and that's going through the back lanes, Lees, Gleaston, Urswick, up to High Carley, crossing over to Pennington. This is to keep off the main road. Pennington, back roads to Three Bridges, and down out of Dalton Gate in Ulverston. Then down to Booths, along the Plumpton roads, and coming out at the bottom of Newland, and then hightailing it along the A590 as quick as we can to Greenodd to get off the busy road quick, and then obviously through Penny Bridge and up to Oxon Park and Bandrake Head and the campsite. Now, Poppet had bought a new tent, you see. She'd got all excited about this bottle bank tent, and she's been dying to use it. And recently, against my better judgment it seems, I thought, well, I'll give one of these little pop-up tents a go, just because they're quick and easy to set up, obviously, and I thought I'd give it a crack. So together these two tents have given us the inspiration or enthusiasm to come out camping and give them a try, which is a good thing, and come by bikes as well. But they have issues, these tents. Yeah, it's quite nice and tidy in there, good bit of space. I've decamped into Poppet's tent because of shortcomings with the pop-up tent, which I'll tell you about in a second. Now this is just a single skin tent, and you see those tags down there, the warning tags, the manufacturer's tags. If it rains, it bloody leaches in there. The rain just comes through the stitching, you know, and you end up with a puddle, which if the wind's blowing on this side, it then sort of lifts the bottom skirt and tips it under your bed, and if your sleeping bag's overlapping your airbed, which it does of course, then that gets soaked up. So we've had water issues. Incidentally, these Gellert self-inflating sleeping mats, they're bloody good. You know, you unroll them, open the valve, and they sort of semi-inflate of their own, and then you just give it a few more puffs by blowing into them, and then they're tight and good. So they've worked well. Quite happy with those. So, yeah, Poppet's tent. This is a windbreak, which didn't survive, a cheap windbreak from Aldi. So what I've done is I've just put that over there as like an extra tarp cover. Hopefully, it hasn't rained since we've devised this arrangement, but the tag attachments are under there, so hopefully this will give it an extra layer of waterproofing on that weak spot, as it were. Now the pop-up tent. Yes, they pop up quick, and once you've worked out how to fold them back down, they go down quick as well. But there is a major flaw with these, and it's this. If it's raining, this door, you see how the top of the door overlaps the accommodation area. So when you open the door, the drips falling off here end up here, which is where the foot of your bed is going to be. Because there's, you know, there's no two ways about it. And that water will soak your bedding, of course. And if it's real bad, it'll end up sort of puddling up somewhere and forming a puddle. Now the other thing, even when the door's closed, let me just pause this a minute and do the door up. So yes, if the tent is wet, because it's raining, or it has recently been raining, and when you open the door, the drips come off this. But even when the door's shut, now I understand that this is a very difficult issue to resolve technically, but even if the door's shut, the water's hitting the door, and at some point it will migrate towards this zip here. Now they have attempted to sort of dress it over with a flap, which would work if the rain's coming from one way only, but if it's coming from vertically directly above or from the other side, the water's going to migrate to this zip line here, until it gets to this crossover point. You see how the flap comes in from the other side, and it doesn't matter what the waterproof rating of the material is. In the case of this one, again from Aldi, it's 2 meters, which is probably just about sufficient for sort of moderate rain, you know, summer showers. It doesn't matter how good the waterproof rating of the material is if the water ends up collecting in the zip, because the zip is essentially a mechanical open weave structure and material, and the water will just sort of percolate and drip through the zip. So you could, you know, the material itself could be rated to 1,000 meters of water pressure, but if it goes towards the zip, it'll just bloody trickle through anyway. So even before you open the door, you've already got a puddle of water waiting for you inside the bloody thing. Now, that wouldn't be so bad if the front of the tent sloped like it does. If it was vertical, it'd be different, because it would just be right at the threshold. But because it's sloping back, where it drips in is already sort of like 18 inches into your tent, and like I say, right on your bedding and all that. So the first night when I opened up to go to bed and prepare, I found those puddles. No good, I thought, and decamped into Poppet's tent. So we're just using the pop-up as like a stores tent, or a tool shed, you could call it. It's handy nevertheless to have it there, you know, to keep our stuff in. And but like I said, there are shortcomings with tents like this, and because of our experiences here, although it has given us the enthusiasm to come out and do the cycle camping thing, come up here, which is great, I'm quite resolved to fetch out my Peakland Dovedale 3 tent, which is altogether different, twin lined and all the rest of it. And although it's a bit heavier, it probably won't be much heavier than 2 lightweight tents combined, if you know what I mean. So not much to lose by bringing it, but creature comforts to be gained, and a sense of waterproofness and snugness that you get when you haven't got bloody leaks. This wonderful little cooker, Poppet got me that. I think it was for a birthday a few years ago. You know, you can usually get these sort of what do we call them, little fold-up, not fold-up stoves, but you know what I mean, pack-down stoves that come in a box. But this one was particularly sweet in as much that it's that much smaller than the normal ones you get. So it does ideal. And I made up this windshield just out of some bits of aluminium. And zip ties just through holes, that makes for a hinge. And of course I shaped this little archway because of the canister. Being smaller than normal, you see, the canister actually protrudes out of the back of these, and so the windshield obviously had to be shaped to fit. And this is just one of these ones where, you know, you've got the canister underneath and that kind of thing. And it packs down so small and sweet. It's worth the effort, I think, to have a stove of that form, because it's flat based and stable, you see. You know, you don't have to like with some camp stoves, you know, by the time you've got the canister, then the burner assembly on top, and then a pot or a kettle on top of that, it becomes quite an unstable assembly altogether. But this is just sound as a pound. Yeah, so the little mule cart, ex-child carrier, turned out very well. You can pack a lot of stuff inside. It took quite a bit of weight, and it's got this kind of attachment here. Do you see that? Now, we wouldn't have done this without coming on e-mules, of course, but just knowing, I wouldn't have had the confidence on normal push bike, you know, years ago, to haul gear up here like this. But on an e-bike, of course, when you come to a hill, you can just up the power level a little bit and, you know, almost make it like you were riding a normal bike instead of a normal bike plus hauling a blinking load as well. Now to attach these you need one of these male-female nuts, and you just take the normal nut off your rear axle. Everybody will know this of course, but just for anyone who doesn't, you take off your normal rear axle nut, pop one of these on, okay, and that extended shank can then fit through the attachment there, and you put a nut on the outside of course, and then it's sort of firmly attached to your rear axle. And because it's at the axle, it doesn't have a lot of overturning torque on your bike or anything when you're going around corners. Feels a little bit different to be fair, but not vastly different to just riding normally. And the trailer, it's got like a spring articulated element there, so you know the trailer just follows you around any corner or up any slope or down. You know, a bit more weight pushing you downhill of course, and a bit of weight dragging you uphill when you're going uphill. But with an e-bike you can just compensate with a bit of extra e-power and it works. Oh. So there we have it, first e-biking adventure. Oh, I forgot to say, silly me. Silly me, I forgot. Of course, it's all very well coming up here on an e-bike, but what if your bloody batteries goes flat? What do you do then? Well, up here, subject to asking the hostess, the abbotess, the owner of the campsite, you know, they have the facility to recharge bikes. By which I mean, as long as you bring the proprietary charger that comes with your bike, you've got somewhere up here to plug it in, that's all I'm saying, you know, to mains electricity so you can recharge. And just whilst on that point, coming up here from a fresh charge on the e-bikes, with pannier loads of kit, backpacks on our backs, plus the trailer on my bike, I think I was down to about, what the hell was it, just around about 50% by the time we got here. And there's a few steep hills at the end where I had to sort of up the power levels, but you know, 50% after 30 kilometres with full pannier load plus trailer, you know, that's probably not bad going really. It got us here probably about 2.5 hours, something like that, you know, and we stopped for a sandwich at Booth's as well. So it's doable, that's all I'm saying, and you can recharge, subject to speaking to the campsite owner about it before you come or when you get here, you know. Because
we shouldn't have petrified.
Well, that's a silly thing, but you know, creature comforts. If it's raining at night and you're all snuggled up in your tent and you think, oh, I've got to get my bloody shoes on, my waterproofs, just to go up to the blinking loos, wherever they might be on any campsite, well, it's just so much easier if you bring a potty. Simple as that, and then you don't have to get out and get wet and get in again, take your shoes off, on and off, blah de blah de blah. You know, just a potty for a midnight call. And for the gentleman, sir, this sir is the gentleman's model. And it might sound laughable, and it is, it's funny, but you know, a godsend on a wet, miserable night. Of course, you can empty them in the morning down the loo when you do go to the loo properly.
Just cold, that one.
Yeah, tin potties get cold on your cheeks. Okay, marvellous. I think I'll close it now. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see if anything pops up during the week while we're here. Alright, bye now.